Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hypotheticals. Nothing but...
Oh,
he's destroyed the set. Nothing but net destroys the set. Tom Nixon, my co-host. How are you, mate?
I'm very good. We need to put an epilepsy warning on that hypothetical sign. Please, if anyone is watching on YouTube, warning, that is a very bright sign. But I'm so excited because the regular season's over and everyone knows in the NBA that nothing counts less than the 82 games of the regular season, and that people watch the NBA for the postseason only. So we're here. We're ready to do a pre-playoff heat check and get into it.
That's it. And so if you're a person about to join the NBA for the playoffs, this is the podcast for you. Tom, let's jump into our first segment. It's time for us, like yourself just before, to shoot a little heat check. All right, Tom, this is Heat Check. This is where we get our temperatures from around the league and see how we're feeling about different teams or different parts of the league. Now, we're doing a bit of a playoffs edition, but I did want to do a quick Heat Check shout out to, as people will see above me, the Coburg Giants here. I don't know if many people will see this, but in the WNBA, a former Coburg Giants player got one of the first multi-million-dollar contracts, Ezi Magbagor. So former Coburg Giant is now a star of the Seattle Storm. So congratulations on getting the bag there.
How good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Tom, I think you got to kick us off with a heat check that is not WNBA related. So what's an NBA related playoffs heat check for me?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do some little dark horse energy of the playoffs. And I think the dark horse, let's be real for a second. When people talk playoffs at the moment, like the West is really where all the energy is at the moment. Like the East, and we can get into this later, but the West is kind of where we're talking matchup heaven if we're looking at the West. And my dark horse that I wanted to heat check right now is actually the Houston Rockets. Their first round, basically a cakewalk. Let's be honest. Reevesless and Luka-less Lakers with 104-year-old LeBron James is not going to provide much resistance to the Rock. I actually think they may kill LeBron James in the first round. He may just die of exhaustion. But I think they could be a bit of a dark horse. As soon as they get to the second round, they're likely to be facing the Thunder, and I reckon they might be able to bully the Thunder a little bit, and it might not be the cakewalk that they're expecting. Obviously last season their issue was late game offense. What they do, they went out and got KD. So, and they just passed the ball to him if they ever need a bucket in the last 2 minutes. So yeah, I've kind of got them as a bit of a dark horse in the West, and a potential upset, I reckon. So look, we'll see how this take ages. I'll decide whether I keep the receipts on this one, but I've kind of got them as a bit of an upset.
Wow. Okay, that is a pretty hot take. Like, if you think that they're going to contend with OKC, that's pretty big. One thing that I was thinking about this first series here, Lakers, Houston, LeBron, KD, Legacy series.
Yep.
Can I pitch you the LeBron Legacy series career-defining moment? Okay. Can I pitch you this scenario? Okay. Obviously, here we are. Right, we're in this scenario. His two best players on his team are down. Right. DeAndre Ayton is unfortunately going to have to be a heavy part of the offense here. Okay.
Yeah. Shaq reincarnate, basically.
That's it. If I'm just going to play this out in my mind out loud, and I want to get your thoughts. If LeBron beats this Houston team with this Lakers team, how impactful for his legacy is it? I want to get your heat check on that, mate.
I mean, people will be talking about it, and I actually think that it'll just extend GOAT debates, longevity debates. People will lose their mind. And I tell you what, if anyone's phone's going to be blowing up, it's going to be KD on the burners, mate. I can't even fathom how many he's got lined up if this series goes down the toilet. I know for a fact he'll be scapegoated, because there's no way on God's green earth that Şengün is going to get scapegoated if that series goes down. And KD's the perfect one for it. So I think for LeBron's legacy, it'd look great. It'd be a great little swan song. No one cares as well. If they make it through the first round, it'll be like, oh my goodness, LeBron really is him. And then when they get taken out in 4 games by OKC, it'll be like, oh, defending champs. Like he gets the ultimate, like, just straight pass. No worries. So yeah, I think that it actually could be good. This is like the old head matchup, I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is like a 2016 dream matchup right now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how it goes in 2026. No, it is going to be exciting. For me, it is just going to, I'm excited to see the two old dudes go at it. I hope it's a 7-game series, and I hope like it kind of comes down to those two just taking each other on. But yeah.
Defibrillator style, you know what I mean? Like I want to see them getting like shots out, you know, sucking down on like the yogurt, you know, the squidgy, like the energy things.
Oh man, well, I liked this concept of the dark horse, and I'm going to go a horse that's slightly darker, Tom, and that is Portland, a team that I don't think anyone's talking about. Now, your keen-eared listeners will remember a couple episodes ago we were talking about who was going to have a better rest of the regular season, Portland, Golden State, or the Clippers. Well, look at what's happened. In the 8th seed, with the Clippers and Golden State being in the 9th and 10th, in some ways in the driver's seat out of all of those. Now, why is that? I think it's because in a league full of stars, Portland is kind of one of those teams that reminds me a little bit of Atlanta, where they're kind of a bit of a who's who makes up the team, you know, a bit of a random assortment of players. And I think when you're used to coaching against stars, they can kind of be a bit of a curveball to deal with. Yep. Not to forget the amazing Drew Holiday leadership that we're obviously going to see.
Hey, Dame's on the bench. I mean, not on the bench, but he's there in street clothes on the bench.
Matisse Thybulle, you know, it's just, I feel like they're one of those teams that like could be really annoying because I think they could throw some weird stuff at you. And here's the thing, we know they're not gambling on their future anymore because that coach has long left. Look, hey, check on the Portland Trailblazers.
I have long been on the Denny Advia train, and I have it on the record that man is underrated. And whilst I don't think he is the most improved player of the year, Ryan Rollins, big shout out to you, Bucks forever. I do think that he has just gone to the next level in the last couple of seasons. So yeah, against the Suns, like, Devin Booker's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting to get them over the line with that. None of this really matters because the Spurs are going to punish them in the first round anyway. But I do like Portland, and I want to see a little bit of Drew Holiday energy. You know what I mean? I like him. His career just doesn't end. Like, we're talking longevity of LeBron James. Can I talk longevity on Drew Holiday? Like,
here we go, mate.
Where's the appreciation for him, and how does that affect LeBron's legacy?
Where's his holiday? That's what I'm asking. Anyway, Tom, let's talk a little bit about, let's get into the playoffs, how we see things kind of panning out, because it's going to lead into some sort of other conversations about different teams. But let's start in the East. Let's blow past that and head it, and then we can.
Yeah, no one cares about the East. Let's
head through this. Let's also be fair. We don't care about it because our team's Milwaukee Bucks, and this season has left us so bitter.
We're clearly very bitter about it.
But let's go through it. Tell me your thoughts, mate.
I've got a quick dark horse in the East as well, just to be fair. Again, I have it on the record all season. I've been talking about the Raptors. We've been talking about the Raptors all season. But if you want to talk about a team that has never looked less confident going into the playoffs, I'm looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are just look like they have limped their way to the 4th seed. I don't know that anyone believes that they're going to have a deep run like they did last year. Like people thought they were going to have a deep run last year, and I just think this is begging for a Toronto upset. And on top of that, just going deeper into the playoffs, I think that the Pistons have got quite a bit of pressure. Cade obviously only just coming back from injury, and they played well all season. They played well without him. I'm not discrediting that, but if they and when they meet the Raptors in the second round, like the pressure's all on the Pistons. Like the Raptors are playing with house money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that there could be a bit of an upset there. And I've got, they're my dark horse, my dark dinosaur, shall I say, of the East is the Raptors.
Wow, dude. Well, I like that. I feel kind of the opposite. I feel like they're going to explode into 1,000 pieces. But I appreciate your argument there. I think I believe though the team that I think is the dark horse in the East is similar to that, which is the Dark Hawks. Like, again, similar theory to Portland. No true star, so you're kind of getting a bit of a team attack, and you just get enough nights where some guy's cooking and the other team's not fully planned for it. You can get yourself a series. So that's that one. But sort of heading forward into the playoffs, how do you sort of see the East developing?
Yeah, look, all of this being said, I find it really difficult to see how the Celtics aren't coming out of the East, to be honest with you. Again, I don't know how this is a surprise. I was literally reading an article today, about the playoffs and whatever, and people were still talking about how this was meant to be the off year for the Celtics, rebuild mode, rah, rah, rah. And like, you want to talk about someone who's just come back from injury and has seemingly not missed a step. Jason Tatum, like, he's dropping triple doubles. I mean, the guy who won my fantasy league, he won it because he picked up Jason Tatum. Like, need I say more? So yeah, I think that they're gonna obviously they've got a pretty easy first round, either being the 76ers or the Magic. They'll likely face the Knicks in the second round, but I just think they've got more. They're deeper, more firepower, and they'll probably be coming out the East. What do you reckon?
See, I agree. I think the Celtics are the choice. Everything about them makes sense. They've got a backup option if one of their stars goes down. Like, there's just too many things that feel right about them. But if I had to throw a different kind of one in the mix, I'm going to say the Cavs, and the reason being...
As if. That is Cook's take.
Here's the Cavs pathway, okay? It's the Raptors are just what you kind of expect from the Raptors as a general franchise outside of the year 2019.
Yep, shambolic.
Yeah, and the Pistons aren't fully recovered. They don't fully sink. And so you kind of get through the first two rounds quickly. And then the pathway is the Celtics, and this is where you need an injury to happen. But by the third round, you've been playing long enough that you're sort of rolling the dice every game with some injuries. So you're kind of just playing the long game, hoping for some sort of disaster on the Celtics bench. And then that allows you to kind of jettison, almost like what the Hawks did in 2021 with the Bucks, like how they kind of had this easy pathway.
Right.
Kind of that, yeah.
I can see, to be fair to you, I can see the Celtics doing a Rockets-esque, like missing 33s in a row, and then like James Harden just going on a tear, dropping like a couple of 40 pieces, and miraculously they come out of the East. But I don't know, man. Like, who's on the Cavs bench? I actually
Sam Merrill, mate.
Hey, man. Hey,
there we go.
We have all love for Sam Merrill, but I don't know if he's going to take him to the promised land.
All right, let's jump over to the West here, Tom.
Yep.
So how do you see this playing out?
It's going to either be a Thunder Spurs or Thunder Nuggets. And can we just do an impromptu redacted real quick? All right, so here's what it is. Redacted, for those who are new to the podcast, Redacted is our conspiracy theory segment where we basically say the emperor has no clothes. We say what everyone's been thinking. The NBA is chock-a-block with conspiracy theories. We are by far not the first to point these out. We'll be getting to the whiteboard later. But look, tell me there is no way Adam Silver will not personally see that it'll be a Thunder Spurs, maybe at a pinch Thunder Nuggets, but probably Thunder Spurs Western Conference Finals, and tell me he will not personally make sure that goes to 7 games. Like, there is, like, I'm just looking at have a look at the bracket, right? Spurs probably going to, they've got a tough second round. You got to take over the Wolves or the Nuggets, which will be tough either way. Thunder, as we sort of said before, unless there's an upset, basically a cakewalk to the conference finals. Everyone wants a Shai Wemby MVP versus MVP candidate 7-game series, and I reckon Adam Silver will make damn sure that happens for the league. People want to see a good playoffs. Last year was all the fight. Everyone was beefing early on, and people want to see Wemby have a deep run. I just tell me I'm wrong.
Mate, not only do I think that, and I agree with that, this is leading me right into some of my thoughts about OKC, which I wanted to kind of of share here.
Let's go.
So I'm also just predicting, like, I know it seems like the obvious choice, but for me, it's just the Thunder is the obvious choice for getting out of the West here. We don't overthink it with this one. I think it could be the Spurs next year, but I think this is the case. But
sure.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the Thunder here. I want to talk about 2 things that I think kind of went under the radar, or one thing that went under the radar, and one nickname for Shai that he doesn't have a nickname at the moment. I kind of got one, and I want to get your heat check on it. So let's start here. Let's start here with something that kind of snuck under the radar. There's been a lot of records broken this season. I don't know if you saw LeBron James, most field goals made ever. We've had a few sort of big records broken. Wemby, I think, has set some records or something. Jokic, I think, is doing some stuff. And Shai has broken a few records of his own. But one of the most interesting ones was the 20-point per game streak. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did see this, yeah.
That one kind of popped up and disappeared. It was just kind of like a whatever. But I kind of wanted to stick with it a little bit because I thought it was kind of a little crazy, okay? So let's think about it. First of all, the person that he passed was Wilt Chamberlain, right?
Yeah.
Famously one of the craziest scorers in any era of the NBA, especially given just kind of his skill level at that era. But you think about all the people that have been between Wilt and SGA, right? Jordan, Harden, Kareem, Kobe, LeBron, Curry, Shaq.
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo. None of these people have been able to achieve this, right? This is an interesting thing. And the other thing that's interesting is Shai is a guard. Like, it's not like he's Wemby or like Shaq where he can just dominate. He has actually kind of had to earn all these baskets. So at the free throw line. So what's interesting is what I think is just I think people are kind of sleeping on how interesting that is as a stat. I think it's like what it's saying is his basement as a player is like could be higher than almost any other player in history. We're just starting to see it, which is kind of fascinating. So that was just something I kind of wanted to shout out. Like I wouldn't even vote for him for MVP. I'm not an SGA apologist, but I was like, I thought this stat was kind of a bigger deal than it kind of got made out. So what's your heat check on that?
Yeah, he's just had a crazy efficient season, which everyone knows. And people are like, the only reason he'll probably win MVP if he doesn't, the only reason is because people are tired of voting for him. It's the Jokic problem. It's the Giannis problem. And people want the new and shiny thing. And we've normalized, like he gets the quietest 30-point games I've ever seen. It feels like he has a couple of like mid-ranges, shoots a few from the free throw lines and hits a three, and all of a sudden he's subbing out in the third quarter with 33 points. And you're like, I don't even understand how that happened. But yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Did you have another OKC take that you wanted to
I just had a quick one.
in?
This one's a different one. I just want to get your heat check. This is not about the playoffs. This is just about OKC. Talking about OKC's tip me up. So SGA doesn't have a nickname. There's not a lot of good nicknames going around at the moment, and people have been thinking like, what could be a good nickname? I've come up with one for Shai. Okay. So Shai, it can't be something like Shai the Tank or like, it has like, we have to be thinking something sort of a bit light sort of thing. What do you think about Shai the Sugar Man? Okay. Now let me explain it to you.
It's very Willy Wonka-esque.
Yeah. Okay. Let me explain it to you. Here's how I got there. Okay. So SGA, his first name's Shai, Shai Sugar, right? A little bit of sugar. And then I was thinking, it's like, if you think about how he plays, he's kind of, you could imagine that Shai Sugar is also a verb. Look at that Shai Sugar. Hit him with the Shai Sugar. He can even hit him with the Salt Bay kind of
the Sugar
thing.
Bay. Yeah.
That's it, the Sugar Bay. And yeah, anyway, I'm just floating this out there. Heat check pitch of Shai Sugar or Shai the Sugar Man.
I don't hate it. You just got to see if it catches on. That's the thing. So we'll submit that obviously to his management, and we'll
Adam Silver.
Backwards.
We'll submit that to Adam Silver, and we'll come back. All right, Tom. Did you have any other things you want to grab a heat check on?
No, that's pretty much it. I think I'm just really excited. I've been trying to pick a team or a couple of teams I'll be following. The East, which no one cares about, I'll be probably following the Pistons because they're young and fun. In the West, I think I just want to see. I'm here for the Spurs, I'm here for the Nuggets, and I'm here for the Wolves. They're like my three. I'm putting some hopes on any of those teams. Unfortunately, they're all in the same side of the bracket. So naturally, a bit of attrition's going to occur. But yeah, those are my three. Do you have what are the teams that you've kind of pined your hopes upon now that we're a Bucks-less postseason?
I'm gonna support any play-in team. So any team that's involved in the play-in. If you can make it past round one, congratulations. It looks like all of them are going to get absolutely destroyed,
punished.
But other than that, definitely the Spurs. You want to see Wemby. You just just watching him's just awesome.
That's what I'm saying, man. Everyone likes him. Everyone wants him to do well. Yeah. Like this is his first postseason. He's only like year 3 or something. Everyone wants him to just like go crazy. So yeah. And like I said, Adam Silver will be personally seeing that whatever, like at least the first series, which will probably be easy, but like he will have a good postseason. There'll be no like fizzling out of Wemby. There'll be no like put away silently. There will be fanfare, and he will be going deep in the playoffs.
Well, Tom, it's time for us to go a little deep onto a certain topic in our segment. For fans of other shows that you may have heard of, you're going to enjoy this segment. worst fake?
Trademark.
All right, Tom, this is our sort of playoffs play-in edition of Worst Fake. And Worst Fake is a segment where we kind of have all the energy and intensity of First Take, but we don't know the topic we're going to be arguing for or what side we're going to be arguing for until it's revealed to us live on the podcast. Yep. So, Tom, are you going to be our Stephen A first, or do you want me to take on the challenge?
I got to give it to you first, just off the back of what you were just saying.
Let me go a little persona this time. I've realized I've got some sunglasses here, so I can be some sort of cool persona for Worst Fake.
I just got to drop this on you just on the back of what you were saying with whatever team makes it through the play-in is going to get punished. So I want you to say, and you can pick the team, right? I'm not even going to say which one it is.
Okay.
But the play-in edition, the Pistons are likely to be upset by any of their matchups in the play-in, and I want you to tell me why.
Oh, okay.
Pick a team. I don't care.
Okay, this is the answer. This is the easy answer. And it's the only answer for people that truly understand the big baller brand. Because the Hornets here have been on that's it. They've been on a bit of a tear. And it's a sting you don't want to face. I think with the Pistons and the Cade situation being a bit sort of iffy, the Hornets kind of finding a bit of a groove, and LaMelo kind of taking things a little seriously, even though I did see him dribble out a layup for a three-pointer the other day. He did cash it, though, so I can't be mad. I have to say, I think if we're ever going to... This is the first year that we're going to see the engine that is LaMelo Ball as an actual star. The Pistons are unfortunately going to be the first ones to face that. This is like they're going to be the number one seed Milwaukee Bucks. This is going to be the Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat buzzsaw straight through the middle of them. So I think they're not ready for the Hornets sting. And LaMelo Ball, it's time to ball.
I actually love that take. And yo, man, conker nipple, like it's bro can shoot, white boy can shoot. And
conker nipple for the triple, mate.
Like I can just see him getting absolutely hot from behind the arc. And Pistons aren't known for being a great 3-point shooting team necessarily. They play defense, that's kind of it. But the Hornets could be fun. They'll, at the very least, however they go out, they're going to crash and burn. You know what I mean? Like it's better to burn out than fade away. That's all I'm saying.
That feels weirdly apt for DeAndre Ayton. If that man could hit a fadeaway, please. Anyway, Tom, your play-in edition of Worst Fake today is, I think this one, I'm like 50% believing this, and I need you to tell me why it's the case. Tell me why, if Golden State loses in this first game, it is the final game that we recognize Golden State Warriors as the team that they currently are constituted as.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is it, man. Like, anyone not named Steph Curry on that team's got to be on the chopping block. I mean, I don't even know how Draymond Green is still a paid player of a professional basketball team and not a WWE representative. But, yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, like, people watch Golden State games because they want to see Steph hit threes. And if and when they lose, they're probably going to lose to the Clippers. That's, not an unreasonable take. They don't get a second chance. Obviously, they're in 10th position. I know people are still trying to work in the play-in, like how it all works and the mathematics of it, but they get one shot. It's one and done. Win or go home. And, yeah, I think this is like they've been kind of petering out for a few years now. Obviously Clay left. The team is just sort of like Jordan Poole, like people clown him, but he was a bucket on that team and he's gone. Like no Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, he's the glue, baby. And I just think, when they lose, like they're kind of like, they're lucky to be there, to be honest. And I can just see this would be the end. Their dynasty's already well and truly over. But this will really be the end of it. And Steph, I mean, get that man some help, but there's only so much that he can do. So, yeah, that's an easy one. That's a layup.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. The thing is, I feel like they're in such a weird position that they don't even know what to do. Like, because it's like if you blow it up, like I don't even know what the team is. So I don't know. It feels foreboding of where the Bucks will be next year or, like kind of this year
Yeah.
as well. It's kind of the same thing.
They're
like,
kind of in the same position as the Bucks, only they made the play-in. Like they're like, I think they won like 6 or 7, maybe 9 games more than us. So, but the reality is like, they're better coached, to be fair. They draft better. They have a better organization than the Bucks. Obviously a bigger market as well. So there's a bit more of an attraction for players to go there. But they're in an awkward space where it's like, so what do we do now? We don't have any young Podziemski. Like,
yeah, it's tough when you're building around Podziemski. That's a tough place to be. Well, Tom, did you have anything else there for worst fake?
No, that's it. I think that's it. I've
right.
worst faked you out.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's time for our segment as 2 Bucks fans, and it's actually almost a happy day now that I no longer have to watch this team, given what was happening towards the end of the season. Tom, it's time for us and our listeners to hear the deer. Alrighty, welcome to Hear the Deal, where we watch every Milwaukee Bucks game so you don't have to. And Tom, we've got a bit of a special edition today because not only is it just after the last game of the season, so the Milwaukee Bucks have officially not entered the play-in or playoffs for the first time in 9 years. They have gone fishing, but Doc Rivers has not been fired, but the wording was departing, which I thought was a very neutral term.
Just got to light the beam on that one, mate. Light the celebrations on that.
Now, I have behind us, and I'm going to get to this shortly, an autopsy of the season that I'll get to. But before we get to that, Tom, is there any sort of big thoughts you wanted to share kind of coming out of just the end of the season here, how you're feeling?
Finally, I feel a sense of movement forward. Like, I feel like we can finally kind of deal with our grief, to be honest. I prepared for this podcast. I was going to talk about what still sucks, the bright spots. I even had a cheeky redacted in there about Doc sabotaging this Bucks season, to try and get Giannis to be traded, all this rest of it. But I just feel like we can kind of do something now. Like, everyone has realized, or at least the front office has finally waited until the season was over. Like, I reckon this has been in the works for a while. I'm just happy to see Doc go. I think even if he sticks around in a consulting or advisory sort of role, at least he won't be head coach, so he won't have final says, and he won't be non-drawing up out of bounds plays. Sorry, I had to, man. I had to. But yeah, I feel like I can now have something to look forward to, think about who the head coach might be, and that kind of thing. And just on that as well, like, there are bright spots, AJ Green finally found his shot. Jericho has become sort of a serviceable backup big. Usman Jeng has kind of been, like, he's big. He's been kind of versatile. Like, obviously he's been used in the complete wrong way, but you can see sparks of opportunity there for him to develop. And I think with a good system and some good coaching, like, I'd be excited. I mean, I don't know about you, man. I watched every game. It got to all possession highlights by the end, but I watched every game. And you're watching the last few games for Thanasis minutes, Alex minutes, AJ Green minutes. They were fun, actually.
Let's break a 3-point record while we're at it. Let's do it. 11 3-pointers. That was
fun. That was fun. But yeah, that's how I feel. How do you feel, just kind of in a broad sense?
In a broad sense, this has been a massive disappointment, but in a it's been probably the most harrowing season I've experienced as a Milwaukee Bucks fan since I started following them in 2013-14.
Yeah.
It's harrowing, not because of how many losses we have, but because of where the future kind of is, and sort of just like it's very much the conclusion of an era that very much the conclusion of which happened at the beginning of this board, which we'll talk about here shortly. But I think really something that's going to go, like, we've hammered Doc Rivers. No, in some ways, there's no point in continuing going on. He's a bad coach and he got fired. That's just at the end of the day. Yeah, that's just kind of the facts. I'm excited for him to be a podcaster again. I actually like him behind the mic, but behind the whiteboard, not a huge fan. The final thing I did want to say, and I'm not going to address this in this part, is I think we saw how much of a cultural mistake trading Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma was, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But there is this is coming from some of the research that I got to throughout this. There's some pull quotes that have sort of cornered Kuzma more as a.
Okay, hold on. Just on the Kuzma thing, real quick, on the Kuz thing.
Yeah.
So it's Drew as well. We lost Drew.
Yep.
And Brooke. You have to remember, like, you know, these were key sort of culture pillars. I think even Pat Connaughton a little bit as well. They all needed to go. But I think the thing with Kuz is I think he's unfairly maligned. I reckon he had a somewhat decent season. I got the sense he tried to do the best with what he was told to do. Also, I don't know if you saw this. This is a little granular detail on Kuzma. I don't know if you saw this, but apparently there was a meeting and KPJ and Rollins got flamed by Doc publicly for playing too selfishly and for just seeking out their own shot. And then Kuz kind of, you know, puts arm around their shoulders like after the meeting in a private sense and sort of says, hey, you know, head up, keep playing your game, trust the process, rah, rah, rah. Doc gets wind of this conversation and DNPs him the next game. And I remember him not playing that game. And I remember even the commentators being like, oh, wow, it's so interesting that like Kuz just, you know, coach's decision, Kuz not playing. And that's the kind of thing where I'm like, what like this is the kind of Doc scorched earth policy on the culture thing. And like Kuz, yeah, he takes bad shots sometimes. He also is the one who everyone throws the ball out when it's bad shots. So look, I'm not necessarily like a Kuz apologist. It's hard to see K-Mid go, but I don't know, man. I think he's an easy scapegoat. He was in the Lakers. He scapegoated in the Wizards. I'm sounding like a Kuz apologist right now. Damn. Anyway, let's go to the board.
So, all right, here's my thing with Kuz, okay? Kuz was on Milwaukee Bucks this season. Dude, I remember one game. I remember we had 2 games in 3 nights. And he went on a chat show that I think wasn't on in one of those places during that stay.
I saw that, yeah.
And I was like, Kuz, this is the kind of thing that people don't like when the team's losing. You know, I understand that there's not much going on with the season, but it's a bad look. You know, do this in the off season. Let's wait for the off season. Let's get it done then.
Is that like the fashion one where he's like,
yeah.
That was a tough L.
That was not the right vibe, especially when Giannis was getting mad that people weren't giving enough like attention to the play, and then Kuzma's like on a fashion show
dancing like with the intro, like cutting shapes and stuff.
Like, so anyway, let's get to the board. All right, let's jump to the board. So this is, I've sort of wanted to do this because I wanted to go, how did we get here, right? How did we end up at the 11th seed in the East? Giannis team.
Y'all need to get on YouTube if you're not watching this because we got the Giannis Trade Tracker TM.
Okay, never mind. I can't fix it. Anyway, so here's how it started because I wanted to start here at the most important part of it that I think started this season, which is right here, and this is Damian Lillard getting traded. Now, let me explain this board a little bit just because it's quite confusing. Okay, the blue line here is where we are in the standings. Okay. This is the number 1 seed. During this season, we were the number 1 seed at a certain point, okay? I'm going to come to that shortly. This is the 11th seed. This is where we spent most of the season.
When were we the number 1 seed?
Oh, I'll tell you. Okay. This is where the season starts right here, this little bit here.
This season?
This is where the season starts. This is last season where Dame got traded, okay?
Okay.
This is where the season starts, okay? This is now. Okay, this is a timeline. So this is the beginning of the season, and then this is where we were on the table.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm there.
This is the months down the bottom. So we got July all the way through to April. Okay, so hopefully people are following along here. This is very much the graph of just how we've done throughout the season. Okay. Let's start here though, because I thought this was an interesting data point. So why am I starting at the previous season? Well, I just wanted to point out where we were at this time last year. Okay. We were 48-34. We were the 5th seed, okay? And we lost to the Pacers in that round, okay? But we can remember we were the 5th seed, okay? Now, I wanted to add one more element to this board, okay? And that is the Giannis trade tracker. How likely was Giannis to get traded, okay? So let's say here is about the halfway point. So below this he's not likely to get traded. Above this, he is likely to get traded. We don't want Giannis's trade value to be above this, okay?
What's the seeding at the 7th seed is the threshold where he's...
Yeah, it's the 8th and 9th seed is roughly the threshold, okay?
Okay, all right.
And that actually sort of plays out, so let's find out. Let's go here. So we start here. He's roughly at level when we make the Miles trade. When we make the Miles trade, I actually think it makes him less likely to move on because we've made a younger decision, right? We traded Dame for a younger player. So that goes down, right? He's less likely to want to trade, okay? We don't do anything for the rest of the offseason, so let's say that stays like that. The Giannis trade tracker stays roughly, he's likely to stay as a buck, okay? Then we start the season. Now check this out. We were actually the number 1 seed about 3 games in, okay? Which was incredible. Wow. So then the graph goes like this. We're playing well. In fact, Tom, you might even remember sort of around this time, we recorded a podcast. And here were our thoughts around this time.
Is this Doc's best coached season so far?
Probably the Celtics have to be in that category. But I mean, this is the best I've seen since that.
And I believe, go ahead.
Weirdly enough, that take doesn't seem as bad if we were the first seed, because I thought that was a lot later on in the season, I'll be honest.
Anyway, we're feeling good. Just to give people some ideas of what else was going on early in the season, the Bucks sort of in this early month and a bit, right? This is all up to November about here. So we sort of flirted around the 3rd seed, 4th seed. You know, we're kind of floating around here, doing pretty well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let me give you some of Giannis's stats. So we started 6-3. We were the 3rd seed 9 games in. Giannis was shooting 50% from 3. I don't know if people remember that.
I remember you talking about this.
He was averaging 36.3 points a game, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 69%, throw in
MVP.
1.3 blocks a game. You're looking at Super Saiyan Giannis, plus Ryan Rollins and KPJ were looking good. KPJ was in and out, but there was some really positive signs going on with the team, right?
Yeah, this is when Rollins got all the time because KPJ got injured after that first 10 or 12 games. It might even have been earlier than that, actually.
So anyway, we can assume that Giannis was not looking for a trade. So the trade thing was quite low.
Right.
Then what happens? This is 6-3. We're here, right? What happens? Well, we go on a 7-game losing streak, right? This starts around mid-November. And so what happens is I actually found out from a Shams article today that I was reading. That 7-game losing streak was so bad, Giannis actually asked for a trade on the 1st of December. Okay, they actually have a date on that.
Early? Goodness
yeah, so
me.
he asks for it here in the season. Look at how bad the season gets, right? This is where he asked for it. He says that he's ready for a trade, okay? So now on the Giannis trade tracker, likely to get a trade, okay? We go on a 7-game losing streak here, okay? In this time, Giannis also, these little bits here represent injuries to Giannis. He's also out for this period. We get a little spike, but other than that, we plummet to the 10th seed, right? And at this time, we're not playing well, okay? The likelihood of Giannis getting traded goes up, okay? Now,
I was on a knife's edge for weeks. I remember this, man. We were threatening emergency podcasts. I tell you what, I was checking my phone night and day.
And I want to highlight a certain moment that you've referenced before. December 31st, New Year's Eve. We lose to the Wizards by 1 point.
Oh, that was
You've told me about this. Tell me about what you saw on that game.
Oh, we just lost hope, really. And we just got bullied by the Wizards, and K-Middleton was absolutely giving us work. And it was just it was a bit of a turning point. I think the 7-game losing streak sucked, but when you lose to the Wizards, I can't remember if it was at home or if it was at the Wizards. It might have been at the Wizards. Doesn't matter. But just losing to the Wizards psychologically does something to a team. Do you know what I mean? And I actually remember the Wizards weren't even playing crazy good. It wasn't like they were hot from 3. It wasn't like K-Mid dropped a 40 piece. It was just, we were just absolute trash.
Yeah. So that's how we start the new year. We're 14-20 at the new year line. Okay.
And that's significant as well. New year. It's oh, hold on. We just lost to the Wiz.
Yeah. So that's sad. Then we go 13th of the 1st. Giannis gets booed at home by the Milwaukee crowd. Do you remember this?
Oh, I do remember this, yeah.
So we get that moment. I put the trade tracker very high at that point.
Pretty high.
then that gets followed up shortly by when we lost to OKC and he started calling out his teammates. Do you remember this? He started saying we're not playing with enough energy. The young players aren't playing properly. Yeah. I put that at maximum trade moment where this is prior to just shy of the trade deadline. Yeah. I think that was maximum. This is the closest we've ever been to having Giannis being traded.
It was at this stage where I was like, he's actually gone. And, I never believed it really that it would happen. And by this stage, I was resigned to it.
Yeah. So now Giannis gets injured again. And we get to the lowest point of the season, which is that we get to 19-29, a 10-game under situation. We're in the 12th seed. Brutal. Right? We get to the All-Star game, we get to the trade deadline, nothing happens. I said when we get to the trade deadline, Giannis's likelihood to get traded goes down actually because he's like, okay, this is the team I got. We just got to go
season at least, yeah.
Yeah. We get to the All-Star game. Then what happens? We start losing. If we look at this bar here, we don't change our standing. And so I think that all of that losing increases Giannis's likelihood to get traded. I think it peaks about a week ago where Giannis starts calling out the Bucks for not letting him play.
Yeah.
And he takes that to the NBA. So he actually complains about tanking to the NBA because the Bucks aren't letting him go. And so I think that was actually the breaking point. I don't think they can come back from there because of how much Giannis cares about winning. I think that was actually, he's like, this is not what I want to do. Yeah. So that I think was a breaking point. But I think he's actually come close to staying with the Milwaukee Bucks because as of yesterday, Doc Rivers got fired. And I actually think that could be something that they would use as a positive to stay with the Milwaukee Bucks. So I've put him as likely at the moment, likely to leave, but not as likely as he was if Doc was to stay. So that's
Did you have something you want to say about K-Mid and Kuz and the culture contributing as well? Or was that, have we already covered that?
No. I mean, so that's just kind of why the season looked like it did and how Giannis's trade likelihood roughly translated to the season. But what I wanted to say about Chris Middleton, the only thing I wanted to say is that Chris Middleton, I can see how he's developing young players on other teams. And I just wish we had that on this team. Like, if I just think of I'm not saying we didn't need to trade Chris Middleton, but I'm saying the specific culture trade for Kuz was a real, I think that would have been a real shift where Giannis used to have a partner that he could lead with in a way. Kuz is not like that. Kuz is like a little bit more down.
Should have Udonis Haslam'd K-Middle. Obviously not immediately, but over a few more years. We just kept seeing him as a second option when he wasn't anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, did you have anything else you wanted to...
I hadn't thought on the Giannis trade tracker whether... I hadn't considered, actually, the Doc getting fired. Noting, obviously, that Doc was famously a Giannis pick from the start. But I hadn't considered that maybe that would keep Giannis in the game in Wisconsin. I'm not sure. I still think, obviously, we still land. He's above the threshold on the trade tracker there. I think he's definitely out the door, but it's gone down a little bit with Doc being fired. So I'll give you that.
All right. Well, Tom, let's jump into our most unusual segment for other podcasts. Rhyme out. All right, everybody. Welcome to Rhyme Out, the only generally recurring poetry NBA podcast on the internet. We
comedy
poetry recurring segment on the internet.
We still have that corner, thank you very
much. I think we still got that corner. Yeah, definitely. Tom, this is where we like to do a little bit of poetry about something in the NBA, and I think we haven't actually both said what our topic is out loud yet, but we've both got a bit of sort of psychic connection here, and I think we both know who we're doing this about. It's a person, I'm guessing.
It's definitely, mine's a bit more of a retrospective.
Okay, great. Mine's a person.
I named some persons. How about we put it that way?
All right. Well, Tom, why don't you name those persons for us right now? Let's get you up on the mic. So everybody, welcome to Rhyme Out. Tom Nixon.
Thank you. This one just goes out to the season, really, that we've just had. And I'll just start us off. Playoffs? No ice scoffs. For a disaster has been this season, and I charge Doc with high treason. Against all things Wisconsin, Gruber, and Bango, this man is disrespected, and I, for one, have justice expected. Giannis is 1 foot out the door, and will lose 2 Antetokounmpo brothers more. We have no funds or future plan. Heck, give the keys to Darvin Ham. Now I have to pick a postseason team, and in my heart, the Nuggets are who we could have been. As long as the Celtics or Thunder don't win, is this where Wemby's chips begin?
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you. And just quick reference, the Nuggets are who we could have been is just in my head, and I've been saying this for ages. Like, you know, the whole idea of having that 1-star player and then a 2-option, 3-option, making some good trades, having a good organization. I just have always seen the Nuggets as like, at least in like since Jokic has gotten great, as the blueprint of what we could have followed as well. You know, make a couple of moves, keep a good core, you know, have some good coaching. Obviously, Michael Malone got fired and whatever, but like, you know, like they're still competitive, and yes, they haven't won, but you still look at the Nuggets, and you go, like they're a tough matchup. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
anyway,
it's I agree. The Milwaukee front office has like started to get some things right, but it is long overdue. We've had a lot of duds. Like if you're listening to this and going, are you sure? Like the Bucks, just think of one person you can think of that's come out of the Bucks system. Dante DiVincenzo, Sam Merrill are the highlights.
Hey, Sandro Mamukelashvili.
Oh, Sandro Mamukelashvili.
Real
you're
ones
right.
will know it.
You're absolutely right. I feel like
but the point is that they all got really good. Dante was a slight exception, but most of them got good when they got traded and they got sent to a place where they could get better minutes or better opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Tom, look, I want to keep this short and sweet this week. I've actually gone for a poem in a different style. So I don't know if people remember acrostic poems where each letter is is something. So I'm going to be spelling out Doc Rivers. Okay. So let's start here.
Okay.
D is for destiny, as in the chance of winning a championship with Doc Rivers is tiny. I really went for that one. O stands for oh no, the look he gives when a team is up 3-1 that he's coaching.
Yucks.
C stands for coach. He was a coach. R stands for random, how his drawn up play seemed. I stands for in, as in play in, something we're not in. V stands for voice. Let's get back to podcasting. E stands for experience. Let's get back to podcasting. R stands for really? What I would yell after seeing our play after a timeout. And S, see you later, alligator. So anyway, that's the acrostic prom.
Sorry. Can you please repeat the play in the what letter was that?
It's I. I as in as in play in, as in something we're not in. Thanks, Doc. Another Doc masterclass that we were lucky to be a part of. You know what annoys me about Doc? Just before we get out of this and before we get into our final segment, you know what annoys me about Doc? Doc is so bad at a coach. We didn't even tank properly. We won the most games out of every team that's tanking. Like, this guy can't even get losing right. Damn it. He frustrates me so much, this dude.
Oh, man, if you don't laugh, you cry. Really.
You cry. And anyway, Doc, hopefully he'll be sitting on the dock of a bay somewhere, and it's hopefully nowhere near Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Let's go to Agent Cody Bank.
Let's go to our final segment here, Tom. Agent Cody Bank. Alrighty, everybody. Just before we head into the play-in and the playoffs, it's time for Agent Cody Banks It's time for Agent Cody Bank, which is unaffiliated with any Frankie Muniz media and actually is about where we represent a player, a coach, in this case, maybe a team, and we act as their agent trying to get them the bag. Though, Tom, we've got a little bit of a twist today. So did you want to tell us what that twist was? Because you came up with it.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a bit of a draft sweepstakes sort of edition of Agent Cody Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, everyone has been talking about the generational draft that is to come. We'll be covering this in our post-season, off-season rather, episodes in more detail. But everyone has been tanking. Obviously, this season have been tanking. Everyone is excited about the deep draft class that we're looking at in the 26th season. So I thought it might be appropriate to argue why, and I'm going to give you the first one actually, just because I've got the mic right now. With a 6.8% chance of getting the number 1 draft pick, I want you to tell me why the one Dallas Mavericks deserve to get the bag, which is basically the number 1 draft pick.
All right, here. All right, so this is me chatting to the person making this decision. I'm going to tell you it's one reason only. We've actually brought this dude up. We've talked about his leadership, and he deserves this, which is K-Middleton, okay? Currently a Dallas Mav. He deserves better than this. This dude took a secondary role on a team, and you know what they thanked him with? Shafted him to the Wizards, okay? And then they bloody dropped him on the tanking Mavericks. K-Middleton doesn't deserve to be treated like this. This dude's a Bucks legend. Yep. Let's see him. Let's give him a couple weapons. We already know he's a pick and roll weapon. Let's give him some tools to play with, and let's show people, and the Milwaukee Bucks, frankly, why he didn't deserve to get traded. So Dallas, it's got nothing to do with your franchise, though you do deserve it because of the Luka trade, but you, K-Middleton, deserve it more than anyone. So that's my reason why.
People think that we set that up. We really didn't. I just gave that to him right then. And I couldn't agree more. I actually love this for K-Mid as well. He's out of basketball purgatory. He's finally in a place. Obviously, he's got Cooper Flag there, and he can just be, in his ear. And, low-key, this is a pretty early take, but I could see them making the play-in maybe next year, or even a playoff potentially. And imagine if we saw a little K-Mid play-in playoff sort of series. I wouldn't hate that at all.
That takes so hot. I'm excited to see how it goes. It's exploded my computer there, Tom. All right, Tom, I've got one for you. This is one I actually want to see, so please argue it for me. This is the team that deserves it. It's the number 1 pick. It is the Chicago Bulls. Dude, give it to me.
The Chicago Bulls are maybe one of the more patient franchises ever. And obviously they've seen their glory days, but those glory days are 30 years old at this rate. And, they have done some bad trades. They've drafted very poorly. And I think that they really do deserve to have a high draft pick. I couldn't even say who's on their team anymore. I know that my man Kobe White got traded, rest in peace. But yeah, I just think like the Bulls, they've got the brand, they're a big market, but they just haven't, I know my boy Josh Giddey's over there. He's actually had a killer season. He's actually been in the league a few years now as well, so becoming a little bit of a vet, or at least coming into his prime. And I think they could be a really fun team. They've got some young pieces over there. I think with a couple of good drafts, they could be really exciting. I could see them kind of playing that Hornets sort of role next season. Have a rookie who shoots well. You never know.
Yeah, almost like Kobe White could have been for them. Rookie mistake trading that dude away.
Kobe White, man, I've been on this guy. He's so good. He's a bucket. Wait, is he on the Hornets now?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
I don't know who I hope gets it, in all honesty. If I'm really with my gut, part of me wants the Kings to get it, but then I saw Zach LaVine saying, we got the talent to be a playoff contender, and I'm like,
do you?
I just don't. He really said that today, and I'm like,
damn.
I'm like, man.
Maybe 5 years ago you did. You just hate to see it go to the Wiz. You know what I mean? I feel like every single year they get good picks, and every single year they do nothing with them, or they trade them away for AD. Goodness me.
Anyway, man, anything you wanted to leave our audience with before we head into the playoffs play-in?
No, just really excited. Not for the play-in, obviously. Who cares about that? Ready for the playoffs. And I'm really excited for us to do a little bit of a mid-playoff heat check once we're deep into it. I'm going to be keeping some receipts because I think that I've had some pretty good takes today. I'm just saying.
I agree. I'm feeling freer now that the load of the Doc Rivers has been removed from the burden of being a Bucks fan, so I'm excited for that.
This has been a group therapy of sorts, really.
This really has been.
For any of our listeners, we're with you. We really are. We watch those games, and and it's just as a quick thing as well, it really sucks being like, oh, today's a Bucks game day, and I didn't have that excitement I used to have,
Well, anyway, we'll be back throughout the playoffs and postseason with some more stuff. But until then, Finn.